to think that we are here, but here we are in the last month of the year, closing out 2020. And, as I was looking at the last days of the year and thinking about how do I bring it all together? How do I wrap this up, right? I felt like what better way of doing that than just bring in president of Howard Community College, Kate Hetherington. I mean, if there's anybody who I can talk about what 2020 really meant, from a strategic point, from pivoting, from changing, from adaptation, from just taking it all in and having to act quickly. I just really felt, Kate, that, well, I needed to speak with you because when this first started back in March, we had the opportunity to come together. We had the opportunity to talk. And I know you were still figuring things out. And I know you were still kind of like grasping the reality of it all. I think that we were all also a little bit in denial still at some point, and thinking, okay, this is just going to be another couple of weeks, maybe another month, and it just kept switching, and slowly but surely, I think it started really sinking in that this is actually going to stay with us a little longer. So we all had to go through that process. We all had to go through that adaptation and that just acceptance of that reality. And that's why I want to start with this conversation. It's a lot, and we've all been through a lot. When we hear the saying, we're all in this together, we're all, on the same boat. We're all on the same storm is what I really like to say. And as we were mentioning briefly before we went live this morning, the boat that we're on is what's different for everybody. And 2020, at least to my perspective, has brought that reality that, yes, we all weather the same storms. We are all facing the same challenges. We're all facing COVID-19. We're all in 2020, but we are all doing it in our own ways and with our own resources. And that's the thing that varies. And Kate, I want to honor the fact that you recognize that from the beginning and immediately went to work and really try to help everybody in the best way that HEC could do. So all of that, it feels like so heavy, and that's just me thinking about you. So how are you doing? How, we're closing, we're here, December 20th, the holidays are, this week we have Christmas, next week is New Year's. How are you doing? How are you? How is Kate Hetherington? Yes, president of Howard Community College, but the woman, the wife, the friend, how is she doing? How are you doing?
Well, Chris, first of all, thank you so much for having me on your program today. Your program is seen by so many people 3 days a week doing a show. That's a lot of work. So thank you for conveying the HCC message and making sure that people are connected to the college. The connectedness is what is so important. And for me, you asked how I'm doing well because I think for the first time, I'm so hopeful because we have a vaccine available. It's on the horizon, and we will be getting access to it soon. And while we've weathered the storm for 9 months, you're really looking at maybe 3 to 6 months that we'll be able to be vaccinated, hopefully, considering all that we don't know right now. But from everything that we're hearing, it looks as though we will be able to some way get back to normal, but it won't be normal as we knew it before. And I think that's going to be the biggest challenge for everyone. Just as we've had kind of an unveiling of a new reality since last March, I do think that unveiling process will continue because there's so many unknowns. And if anything has happened from all of us during these last 9 months, we've been impacted by COVID. Most of us, including myself, know people who have been affected, who have passed away. We just in our family had someone, we had news of someone in our family last week. And it's just an incredible burden that people are carrying right now, in addition to everything else that's going on. I'm grateful at our college that we have people who fully believe that we are all in this together and are dedicated to the mission of providing pathways to success. they're so focused, our faculty and our staff are so focused on helping students. And for some of us, we're living the reality that our students have been living pre-COVID. And talk about a way to get connected to people when you're in their shoes. And many of our faculty and staff are feeling those kinds of experiences that our students were living pre-COVID. It's quite impactful. So as I said, I'm hopeful. When I look back in March, you're right, Chris, we didn't quite know what was going on. And it reminded me of the reaction people have at the beginning of war. When you hear about people with World War I in England, they were saying, oh, this will be over in a few months. Little did they know. And that's the same kind of reaction I think we have with COVID. Oh, it's going to be over in a few months. We'll be fine. And as time went on, we saw that did not happen, that it had impact on the college, profound impact on our students and our employees. And there was a point, I think personally, there was a point where I said to myself, okay, this is how it's going to be. And it's, you know, we have to keep moving along. And, you know, I'm a runner, and that's what runners do. They just keep moving forward. And that's what we had to do institutionally. And the resources we had just in terms of our faculty and staff and the ideas that they've come up with, they've just been incredible. So I've been inspired during this time. And rather than being focused on so much the here and now, because we're such a planful organization, once we kind of got in the rhythm of what it is that we need to do, and then we repeated it first summer session, second summer session, fall, got in the groove for winter and spring. You know, we're a planful organization, and thank goodness for that, because it helps, and it helps reduce the drama that you can often have in life when we don't approach things like that.
There's so many wonderful things that you just mentioned there, and I want to kind of like hone in on two. One is this idea of keep moving forward, right? I mean, you talked about grief, and you talked about your personal, and I'm really sorry to hear that somebody just passed and you just found that out from your family. But here you are today, right? You just got this news. Here you are today doing this interview. And you know, and your image of running really brought a lot of ideas in my mind. And I think that the one that I want to kind of like bring out to everybody is you can either run in fear, or you can either run towards what scares you and really just face it. And I think that that was the attitude for sure that we saw with Howard Community College when all of this happened, right? We took a week, we took our spring break. There was another week, but it wasn't that we were just waiting or hiding, or it was that we were, like you just very much said, preparing. It was, okay, let's face this. Let's run right into it. You know, let's just go straight forward into it and see what we have to do and how we need to adjust. And Kate, you know, when we first talked, you talked about we needed to pivot. We needed to adapt. We need to find the way to work in these new circumstances, right? And that was the attitude from the beginning. Tell us a little bit about, you know, how that attitude continues to be true today, and some of the things that HCC continues to adapt and change and just even get creative with to provide the best education to everybody at Howard Community College.
Well, one thing for sure, pivoting is what we do with a capital P at the college. And a lot of that has to do with rethinking how you do your work. And so for our amazing faculty and staff, in 2.5 weeks' time, we've moved the whole spring semester to being offered remotely. And that meant everything. That meant the instruction and you know, fortunately for us, we have many faculty that were very knowledgeable. For those that weren't as knowledgeable, using the online resources, we provided the professional development and training. And then Megan Myers and Amy Chase Martin, I have to give a shout out to them for all the work that they did to make sure that faculty felt comfortable with this. For some of them, it was a new delivery method. Fortunately for us, we've been doing online for over 20 years, so it wasn't like a completely new thing. So, you know, at the end of the day, you have to make sure that the product that you're giving to, in our case, our students, is one that is, you talked about connections earlier, has to be a way of connecting to them. And just as you started off this interview asking how I felt, I know, because I heard it from faculty, that that's how they would start off their sessions, their class sessions remotely. How are you doing? And I think from what I've heard from students, because I still have been continuing my presidential dialogues, which I have, it's like a focus group that we do every month with students, I along with the vice presidents. I've been hearing from students that really makes a difference to them, for someone to hear, how are you doing? And really mean it. So, so that's one area, that huge shift that we had. And then the services that we've had, and you've had people, you know, come to your show talking about the services, whether it's financial aid, making that available, the admissions process, transfer, students are still transferring to other schools. I think most importantly during these times, it's the availability of mental health counseling. And so something we never did before, which is very similar to telemedicine. Our counselors did telecounseling, and Joy Stevens and John J. Coughlin, I have to give a shout out to them, because they are very caring people to begin with, and making telecounseling available to students who maybe in the past never even used our counseling services before, and making it easy and accessible. So I think when I think of all the things that we've done, we've tried to make things easy and accessible, provide a platform for connectedness, and also be open to listening. So we survey our faculty, our staff, our students. We've surveyed our students a number of times, even little short surveys like saying, how can we help you? What can we do? And that has really helped students too. One student said, well, I really don't need anything, but I really appreciate you even reaching out to check on me. So that sense of community that the college has always had is really come out loud and clear, I would say, during the pandemic. And people are very caring at the college. And that's what makes it such a special place, that people will do. I mean, you just have to say help, and you know, you have 10 people running to help you. So that will be the thing that will keep students coming back post-pandemic, because there's a lot of concern about what the future will look like post-pandemic, and will students want to go to college? Will we be offering the programs that they want? Will they still be dealing with issues related to hunger? You know, the ability to have a roof over their heads. All those things we're trying to help students with right now.
And you know, all of those things, that's why I said earlier in our interview, the 2020 vision, right? Because I know that as a college, we were aware that, you know, the people were having these challenges, our students were having these challenges. I don't think we realized, and obviously got magnified by 2020, and maybe, as you said earlier, people who were not in the situation suddenly found themselves, right, in those new positions. So that awareness that the college already had, I think is also part of the ease of being able to just jump right on and say, okay, let me help you. But you're right, Kate, that question, and you know, and it felt so simple that I typed the question many times, you know, how are you, as the first question for today. And then I was like, but that's so simple, right? And then I deleted it again. And then when I was looking at my last draft, I was like, I have to ask her how she's doing, because that's what we need. That's what we need right now. And I think that's, to me, one of the biggest lessons of 2020 is that it's a question that we ask every day. And it's almost like we all know the script. How are you? Oh, I'm fine, right? Or I'm good. Or, you know, it's just a passing thing. And now it has opened up this real door to really figure out and connect with that other person and see a little farther in, you know, from teachers to students, staff, just among staffs. When I have my meetings, I can't tell you how many times it's just, you know, we've had a full agenda of things, right? But then we've realized that we are going to get it all done, but what we need right now is just that little connection, right? And that's why I'm the conversation today. And I love to hear the teachers at HEC were doing that, because I can't tell you how much it means to me when I find somebody who just, it's outside. We're living in a world where we're afraid of being close together, because we know that the
Yes.
closer we are physically, then the more at risk we're putting ourselves, right? But when you find that one person who just keeping the distance, says, how are you doing, and stops to try to listen to your answer, that just fills my heart with joy and happiness and faith. So for everybody listening and watching, I just want to pose that question to you, and I maybe pose that challenge to you, maybe how are you doing today? If you need help, if you're in Howard Community College, maybe you're not part of HEC, but reach out, because we will offer you the services that we can. If we can't, we will give you information of where to go. That's one thing that has come up in conversations with Kate also, and with many guests actually, where they say, I was walking through the college and I said, where can I find this? And people will stop whatever they're doing and will guide me and take me wherever I needed to go. So HEC is a friendly place. If you are a student, if you're a staff, if you're faculty, know that we are here for you. And if you're not, but you're looking for resources and don't know where to go, I urge you to still consider Howard Community College and call, because, or send an email, Counseling and Career Services. They can help you. And if they can't physically do it, they will give you a place, and they will tell you where to go. We talked about safety just briefly, and that was one of the biggest concerns. And that's, I think, a place where people are still, I don't know, iffy, divided, maybe. I don't know what the right word to say it is, right? And so I know that at first it was all online. Then we started opening certain classes for hybrid, and some of our staff, we have been able to come when needed to the college. If we really needed to come, and like when I need to record, I don't have that kind of equipment at home, so I need to go to HEC, right? How are we making those considerations, those decisions, and still keeping everybody safe and comfortable, knowing that when they come to HEC, it's okay, you're safe to come to HEC if you have to come in person?
Well, first of all, before I answer that question about safety, I have to ask you, how are you doing?
Taken all of 2020 and encouraged by the community that we have at HEC, and that connectivity that you talked about. I have felt it for sure, and that gives me hope. And just like you, very much like you, hopeful into 2021, with all of the metrics and all of the information that we get from the government, just taking it all in, following, and just doing my part to make sure that me, my family, and all of my neighbors are safe.
Good. Well, I hope that all continues for you, Chris. I know it's a challenge. I'll move on to your safety question now. Well, everything that we do, in fact, from the reopening that we had, this past year, to people coming on campus, everything is, and the closing of the college, everything is done with the safety of our faculty, staff, and students in mind. That is number one. So you may have, when you come on campus, as I do, I come on campus quite a few times during the week. I have to say, I don't see many people, if any. Probably when the Cafe on the Quad was open, I would try to go over there every day and get something to eat so I could see Dennis and Jean, Shelly, a few other folks, and Wilda from the bookstore. But that was about it. And so, if you're on campus, you can see, well, first of all, you have to fill out the questionnaire to make sure that you're safe to come on campus, which is a reminder of making sure that you're meeting all the safety protocols. But when you come on campus, you see the signage throughout the college. You see the PPE, the plexiglass. We have more plexiglass than you can imagine in safety points throughout the college. We have hand sanitizers, and we're also mindful that it's because it has to be clean. So our facility staff are doing an incredible job making sure that the facilities are clean. And then Chuck Nightingale and his team are making sure that all the systems in the college keep working, because some of these buildings don't have many people in them, but they have a lot of engineering requirements. And so we're making sure that is being taken care of. Probably the most used buildings right now are the health sciences building, where we have our nursing students and allied health students, and the science, engineering, and technology building, where we have our engineering students. If you drive by the campus and you look off of Little Patuxent Parkway, you'll see the parking lot is typically filled, and that's because those students are in those buildings and they're taking hybrid courses. Part of their classes are from home or wherever, using the technology, and then they may come in 1 or 2 days a week to do their on-hands portion of the class. And for this upcoming winter and spring semester, we have expanded that a little bit more in the engineering department, and then we also will have some students in the performing arts able to come on campus, again, following all the safety protocols. In addition to that, the college does have a reopening plan, and I have to give a shout out to Shelley Bolello and her committee, which is comprised of 26 members of the faculty and staff who issued the first plan back in May of 2020. And that has served as the template for plans that we have for every single department at the college. So Shelley and her team developed this template. So for example, I'm looking at the one that the development office did under the leadership of Missy Maddie, and it shows what they would need to do under each of the 3 phases. We're guided really by the CDC. We're guided by what we hear from our state government, our local government. Shelley Bolello serves on a team that meets every week. During COVID, they were meeting, I think, 3 or 4 times a week to go over what was happening in Howard County. On that committee, the county executive is on it, the health department, Dr. Rossman, the Howard County Public Schools, the Parks and Recs and other organizations, Economic Development Authority. And they meet weekly to go over the status of COVID in our county, what the protocols are throughout the county, and how that gets incorporated in what we do. And we have a very strong relationship with the Howard County General Hospital. In fact, we have been this past few weeks been doing COVID testing in the college's garage, the parking garage. That will end this month. But we also will be at some point offering the vaccinations for first responders at the college. So, we're really very thoughtful about this process. The decision-making is shared among many. We get such great assistance from the efforts of our county, and we're very far ahead compared to other counties. In fact, if you look at our rates, they're very low compared to other counties. And so, that's something that the people who live in Howard County are to be commended for. So that's how we get all that information. But that input from everybody at the college, every department, the faculty and staff within the departments, the review of those plans, those are critical. That we have an overall high-level college plan, and then it's broken into every single department has their plan.
And I have to say, when I have been at the college, one of the reasons why I was so adamant about going out at first is because I didn't know what I was going to find. And I felt, I expected to see what I saw the last day that I was out, right? And then when I came to the college, you're right. It's a very different feeling. Everybody who's there from our safety staff, they have their masks and they keep their distance. They help you, they assist you, but they are keeping all of the protocols. The buildings, much like you just said, I mean, you don't see anybody, right? They're empty. So it's different in that sense, and I guess that's the heart right there, right? It's like it's almost sad to see that it's so empty, but at the same time, when you're thinking about safety, then you realize, yes, okay, there's not a lot of people. The college is going at great lengths to make sure that there's not a lot of people coming in to keep everybody who does have to come in safe. So if you were considering to take classes and you think, well, they're offering hybrid, and I don't know how I feel. I just from my personal experience, I can tell you that whenever I go, I feel really, really safe, actually. And it's clean. It smells really nice. I mean, I like the smell of clean. So.
Well, we use green products. They're all green products, so they smell good. They don't smell like chlorine bleach.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. And so it smells really nice. I mean, it's just it's an interesting feeling because you feel safe, you feel good, but at the same time, just because I've been there when it's full of people, I miss that part. I miss the,
Oh,
the
I do
busyness
too,
of the
Chris. It's very, very different, and it's in a way sad because the campus looks gorgeous. I mean, all the seasons we saw the seasons change, and the facility staff, they are making sure the exteriors of the buildings look great. So for those of you who haven't been on campus, when you come back, it's going to look like a brand new campus because the facades of Duncan Hall and the Student Services Building and the Clark Building, they've all been cleaned. So it's just so fresh looking. So that's, you know, one thing. And the other thing is we intentionally kept the plannings going. You know, we could have saved a little bit of money by not putting in the plannings. And I said, no way. I said, this is a place, a respite for members of our community. There are people who are walking on our campus that live in the neighborhood. And just, you know, you want the campus to look as beautiful as it always is. We don't want that to go downhill. So people have actually emailed me thanking me for keeping the campus open. And they just go for their walks, whether it's on the athletic field or through the campus or bicycling. So not a lot, but there are people that are out there enjoying the campus. So I'm happy for that. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that we do have a dashboard which shows us any COVID cases that have happened. And so that gets issued by Shelley Bilello every week. And you'll see within that the breakdown of our employees, whether they're on campus, off campus, how many COVID cases we've had. So we're being very transparent and making sure people are aware of the cases that we've had on campus, which is really rather limited, to tell you the truth. So that data comes out weekly.
Yes, and it's good information to have. It just really cements that safety, you know, the idea of safety. Plus, it also brings us together. It's because one thing that I noticed on that board is that it says, you know, they were people on campus, people online, people. So it just really redacts it very clearly so that you can see that even it's not that we're only concerned about who comes to campus. We're very concerned about everybody. You know, it says was not on campus. Like when the first time that I saw was not on campus, I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, we are really keeping up with everybody.
Yes.
And I think that that's great. And that speaks to that connectivity and that connectedness that you've spoken about, Kate. And that's where I want to go next, because we have mentioned just briefly a couple of ways that we have continue to stay connected. But I really want to highlight that because to me, and it was a transition, I'm not going to lie. It was a transition. You know, I was not used to having as many meetings as I have now. And at first I was maybe a little annoyed, if I can be fully honest.
I understand that completely, believe me.
But you know, but then I have to admit now I look forward to it because it's the one time where I get to see, you know, my coworkers. And like I said, I mean, the conversations, I think at first it was really, okay, how do we do this? And what are we going to do? And it was like a lot of planning and a lot of reacting, right? Whereas now we continue to check in on, you know, on our responsibilities, but we really are checking in on each other as well. And so that's one of the ways that we have kept that connectivity. And I've come to appreciate, you know, the meetings, the Zoom meetings that we have now. So tell us a little more about that, what you have seen, what you have experienced, and what HCC has continued to do and continues to do to make sure that we stay connected with our students, amongst ourselves, you know, staff, with faculty and everybody, and the community at large.
Well, we've tried to maintain a sense of normalcy about some things. I mentioned the presidential dialogues, which I've been doing for almost the 14 years that I've been president. And so we have continued to have those meetings with students. You know, they're like 3 to 4 times a semester. The other thing is we still, the constituency group meetings that I have with the faculty and staff, they continued this semester, again, as a way of staying connected. Our augmented team meetings, which is the leadership for all the committees at the college, the constituency groups. We meet every single month. So some things we've continued that were normal. The other things that are new are more written communication. So every week, as you know, the President's Update, that comes out. That's my newsletter. But in addition to that, since COVID, and it came out, oh gosh, I guess it was at least weekly, if not more, when COVID first hit, there were messages, coronavirus messages to the faculty and staff, and then another one, a separate one to students. A lot of the information was overlapped, not everything. So there's two major communications that are going out. Weekly, of course, the President's Update, but then maybe every 10 days, there will be a coronavirus message from me. And then we keep them posted on the web. So when you look at the college's website at the very top, you can click into that and that will take you to the website where if you needed to check on something. So I find that communication is critical. The other thing is we continue to fundraise for students, and people have been extremely generous. And we've had our Vino Scholastico, our wonderful wine event. We did that virtually. We made more money for students and student scholarships this year than ever before, which I never would have believed would have been possible. And we're looking ahead at our gala on April 17th, and we will be doing that virtually. And we're excited about that and have wonderful plans set up for that. It's the college's 50th anniversary. And we will be celebrating the 50th anniversary and have continued with activities this semester and into the spring semester. We'll have more. We'll have a lecture series by our talented faculty that will happen in the spring. And of course, our holiday party. You remember we used to have one big holiday party and a nice luncheon and getting together. Well, the committee who worked on that had a different approach. Rather than, they said, people just can't do this for hours on end. And they came up with these wonderful ideas that were interspersed throughout the week last week that people could just, if they were free to do so, could tap into. And that could be anything from mindfulness and relaxation to building a gingerbread house. So, you know, we had great turnout for that. So we're looking at different ways of doing things, using our imagination, being innovative, thinking of new ways. And I agree, when we first started to do this, it was overwhelming for most people. I know, even personally, I mean, you know, the job of a president is a 24/7 job. There's no doubt about that. But it was more intense than anything that I've ever felt in my life. And part of that was the burden of the responsibility too. But it just never stopped. And it's still, of course, we are still addressing everything, but I think all of us, we get to a point where you have to plateau. You can't keep that angst up that level. You're just not going to make it. You have to say, okay, this is base reality. This is how it is. Get over it. And, you know, this is what we're going to do, or you won't survive. You have to take care. And this is a message that I tell all of our employees when meeting with them and our students. You have to take care of yourself first. It's like, you know, when you're on the plane, they tell the mothers to put their oxygen mask on first before their children. There's a reason for that. So we really, and there's a book written about that too. Put your oxygen mask on first. But there's, you really have to be mindful of yourself and taking care of yourself if you're going to do a good job in taking care of others. And so that's why I remind our employees that we have an employee assistance program. If they need to reach out for help, they need to talk to someone. It's one of our employee benefits. It's free. So, and the feedback I've received from that is that employees have really welcomed that and have used that. So, and then of course, for our students, as I mentioned earlier, we have the telecounseling. So there's, it's a big shift that we're all doing, and it's not going to stop. It's not as though the vaccine will come, a switch will go on, and everything will be back to normal. We will be experiencing things that we've never experienced before when we are back. And I think we've really sharpened the soul by doing things differently during the pandemic. And so we're ready. We are ready for whatever comes up next because we've already learned to pivot. We're innovative, we're creative, and we have such a great college with talented people that I know we'll be serving our students the best way we can.
And there have been so many opportunities for students as well. Student Life I was really impressed with all of the work that they were able to continue to do. So many of the events that just transferred, to the online world. The job fair was one of the ones that really just showed to me the heart of the people at the Office of Student Life, because they realized that that was one event that was not only welcomed by the community, but needed this year. And they had to find a new platform. They had to really just come together and bring this new vision to it. And they did it. And they did it. So
Yes.
there's so much. There's so many ways. There's
Our commencement. We just had commencement last week, which is available online for anyone who wants to watch it. Again, that was not the preferred way. We moved commencement a few times, and then we said, this just isn't going to work. We're going to have to go virtual. And what we heard from our students was initially they didn't want it virtually, but I think that was back in, May, June, and they, who knew that we'd still in December still be in the pandemic. And so we got some best practices from other sister organizations, other sister community colleges, and we were able to hold commencement. It was different, but in a way, it's a way that our students who, because they get showcased, each student, they were able to personalize their frame, their tile, and so it was a different way of doing it. And we'll see what happens this May. If it will be doing it again, we don't know yet.
Right. It's all still very fluid.
Yes.
It's very organic. It's very, very organic, and things just keep happening, and we just keep moving along with them. Right.
Yes.
Kate, I want to really, I want to maybe, I don't know if this is a challenge or I don't know, but I want to put you in the spot, I guess, here right now. It's because in the back of my mind, as we look at 2020, and it's been a year of lessons. It's been a year of challenges. It's been a year of grief. But there's been also good things right in between. And it's just a lot of emotions. It's just a roller coaster of emotions. And I picture our students, because I remember being a student. I remember being a mom and having a job and being full-time in school, and how overwhelming that felt, right? Mm-hmm. And that was in regular conditions, right? That was pre-COVID. Right. With COVID and everything else that comes with that, right? That's just like it's like a cherry. I want to call it a cherry on top, but I don't know if that's the right analogy here, because
I'm not sure about that, Chris.
Maybe a lemon on top. I don't know, a green on top. But so I'm picturing our students. I'm picturing, and I'm seeing people celebrating their graduations. But I can't stop to think about the one student that maybe is just really overwhelmed, the student that's really just not feeling the holiday spirit. We talked about how all of these emotions are coming. I usually put a lot of decor in my house in Christmas. I didn't do that much this year because it's been tiring, it's been exhausting, and I didn't want to do all of that work this year. I'm feeling the spirit, but I just didn't want to do that. And that brings me to realize, well, there's probably people who are feeling, much more overwhelmed than I am, and feeling stressed, and maybe going through grief, maybe going through sorrow. I want you to talk to that one student. I want you to talk to that one person right now, and just share some words for those students who might really, really, really be just feeling pushed down by 2020.
Well, for anyone who's feeling that way, know that you're not alone. There are so many other people that are experiencing the pain, and it's real pain, visceral pain that people are feeling. And know too that there will be an end to this. There is light at the end of this tunnel. We will not be in this pandemic forever. We already have a vaccine available. We will be getting through it. You will be coming back to class in one way or another at some point in the future. It will be different, and acceptance of difference is really important, because it's not going to be the same. And I think once you take that first step to realize it's not going to be the same, it will be different. But from different, there's a lot of good. And, we have found, and I'm sure in our own lives, there are silver linings to things, whether it's being greater connected to the people in your household than ever before. Hopefully, or it's not the other way. I mean, I know people are experiencing that too. And being connected with nature. I mean, some of us, are able to walk outside, and which we never did before because we were working all the time and in offices, and so just having a different perspective, being more in tune to your children. I think people are having that. I know it's challenging when you have children at home and trying to work and take care of a household and everything. But children are mindful of the stresses because they pick up the vibe from their parents. And so I think that's another thing that, it's an opportunity to be your best self for your children. And I think that's important. And I do think that it is close in reflection. One thing I have said for years to our employees, whether it was at convocation or whatever, in constituency group meetings, is take the time to reflect. Well, we've had plenty of time to reflect during this pandemic. And I think people are rethinking their lives even. So, if you look at this as an opportunity to have a different perspective, it's a gift. And that way it's a gift. It's real easy to go down that deep hole, And once you do, it's really hard to get out of that. So trying to shift to a different way of thinking, being mindful of yourself, your physical self, and taking care of yourself are paramount right now. Absolutely paramount. Your physical self, your mental well-being, and your spiritual self as well. That's another component too that we don't talk about that much, but I think that's important too.
Absolutely. And I thank you for that, Kate. I love, and that is, wow, that's a big challenge you just gave us right now. Look at it as a gift, right? Like, wow, how do we look 2020 as a gift, right? And so I invite everybody to maybe, maybe the time, and I know that, and it's not that we're undermining all of the challenges. We are very aware of it, very, very aware of it. We have all experienced them in one way or another. But really try to bring that silver lining into it. Really try to find maybe that one thing that you were craving before. For a lot of people was time, right?
Yes.
And, maybe, and I know it's difficult to say, okay, maybe you have all this time now because maybe you lost your job, right? But still try to find, maybe that gave you the opportunity to look at your career in a different lens, maybe to start a business, maybe to connect with your family. I mean, just so many other things. And at the same token, if you're struggling, reach out for help. There's help at Howard Community College. There's organizations out there. There's funds available also. There's social programs through your local governments. So find that peace, put that mask on, as Kate said earlier, right? Put that mask on, take care of you, and reach out for help if need. Howard Community College is here to assist in many ways, mentally, with the campus, physically, right? If you need a walk, maybe you can come to HEC, and if you're close by, and have that walk, and be that your medicine for that day, maybe. And like I said earlier, there's other resources that if we don't have them, we will be happy to point them out to you. What has been the biggest lesson 2020 has taught you this year, Kate?
Well, I think it's taught me, and I knew this, but it was reinforced, of the resilience of our students. What's happening at the college is that sometimes students can't get in touch with a particular department. I mean, our office, the president's office, has been inundated with requests for information. And so what will happen is they can't maybe get someone in, let's just say, financial aid. Financial aid, of course, is doing a terrific job. I don't want to minimize that, but people can't always get when they want to get to it, which means this minute I want you to pick up the phone. So what they'll do is they'll often call, they go from the department right to our office. So we have been getting lots of calls. And so we follow up within 24 hours, less than that typically. Students will get a response. But what I've been learning, and that is the resilience of students, because through that, I'm hearing the stories that they're dealing with, the pain that they're dealing with. And I've been so impressed by the responsiveness of our faculty when it's a course issue. You know, when they can't get in touch with the professor, they call our office, they actually call us and email us. We get both. And so the response from the faculty, from the deans, has been tremendous. The response, especially from the financial aid office, they have been not only handling everything that they have to do now, but we were fortunate to get federal stimulus funds. So that meant a disbursement of over $2.4 million to our students that we were able to give, 2.3. And so that was like an add-on, a good add-on, because our students benefited from that. They got these checks that helped them stay in school, but that was an extra job that they had to do in addition to everything else. And fortunately, with the passing, which we anticipate with the stimulus package, more funds will be coming to colleges and universities down the road. So that's another plus for our students. So we will have funds available to help students stay in school, meet their goals, and support the services. We've given out hundreds of laptop computers. We've given out hotspots. For our staff, we have soft phones, which means they basically can work from home and their office number goes into this phone and not their private number being displayed. So again, through the stimulus funds, we've been able to do that. So I think it's the resiliency, the innovation, the creativity of our faculty and staff. I've been so impressed by that. And the willingness to just keep on going forward. As I said, it's really easy to go down that deep, dark hole of woe is me. But if you do that, it just makes you feel good maybe for the moment. It's like a good cry. And then you go, okay, done that. I mean, we got to get going here. So, have a good cry. If that makes you feel good, have a good cry, because this holiday season isn't going to be the same. I know for myself, I come from a large family. It's like, we're going to have a Zoom meeting on Christmas. It's not the same, but it will pass. As they say, this too shall pass. This will pass. We'll get out of it, and we'll be stronger. And we'll be looking at the programs that we're offering, the courses that we're offering, the delivery. I'm really excited about the future, to tell you the truth. I am excited about what's going to happen next. And I know we have what they call the right people on the bus to do the job with our faculty and staff. They're so geared towards our students, and that's why they work at the college. If they weren't interested in student success, they wouldn't be working here, because that's what we're all about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And through the conversations I've had with, many different people from HEC, that's the one thing that keeps coming. I mean, it's like when I ask them, what's the best thing, or what's the, anytime I ask them about what's good about, working at HEC, it always comes back to the students. It's like, well, because yes. I learned so much from the students. I get to interact with the students. I see a difference. It's always student centered. It's not a me. It's not anything like that. There's a lot of great things, and they mention a list of things. It's the campus. It's the community, and it's all of these great things about the school. But the one thing that just always stands out is it really just comes back down to the students. It's like that interaction with the students, and that seeing the light that comes in the students, when they're learning, and the assisting them, and the relationships that are formed with them. That's what everybody takes with them at the end of the day. And that's the biggest celebration. And speaking of celebrations, I mean, I know you talked to us about the 50th celebration, the anniversary of the college. What are some other things? What are some of the biggest things that you want to celebrate about 2020, looking back at Howard Community College?
Well, we did win the Baldrige Award, and we were supposed to accept that in March, right when the pandemic hit. We had over 100 employees scheduled to get on a bus to go down to the National Harbor to enjoy receiving the award, and that didn't happen. So we will be doing a virtual acceptance of the Malcolm Baldrige Award of Excellence. This is the only presidential award in the United States. for excellence, and it's a very challenging award to receive. Just by coincidence, GBMC, also in Maryland, just received the Baldrige, and I had an opportunity to congratulate them and let them know that to go through a site visit remotely during a pandemic while you're handling all your patients is just remarkable. So we will be accepting the award. So I'm excited about that. It will be virtual. It'll be, they said we can come in 2022 if we want to come in person. So we'll see about that. We do have the award, which I sent a picture of that out to the college community. And so that's a big plus. The 50th anniversary, very, very special occasion. We'll be doing a groundbreaking this summer for our new our new mathematics and athletics complex. We're going through the design phase, and the construction will actually begin this summer. So that's 2021. And we will be graduating more nurses, more healthcare providers, more cybersecurity experts, which are all very much needed in the state of Maryland now. And we will be doing our best to have our ear to the ground about what the workforce needs of the future are. So our students will be able to be well trained for the new jobs that are out there. So our faculty, along with their deans and our vice president of academic affairs, are already working on what does the future look like in terms of workforce demands. And we will be making sure that we are responding to those demands and have the training available.
Absolutely. And I have to say, through the series of interviews that I've been doing around our apprenticeship programs at Howard Community College, one thing that impressed me is that we're in the middle of a pandemic, and here I hear, oh, we have a new apprenticeship program, and there's another new apprentice. It's like, we're not stopping. We're continuing to, as you said, connect with the workforce. What do we need? What is in demand? What are the new trends? And we are adapting. We continue to just create new ways of serving their students, providing them with the opportunities. We slowed down for maybe 3 weeks at the beginning in that process of adaptation, but we picked it right back up. We pivoted. We made sure we had to slow down. And that's why we did it, because we needed to sit down and plan. We were not ready for a pandemic. That was never part of the protocols in the college. That was not, what to do in case of a pandemic. We had not received that manual, right? So we needed to create it. We needed to sit down and really looked at that. And once we did, we hit the ground running again, right? It was to go back to that idea of running, and we have been moving forward this entire time, creating new opportunities based on the marketplace, based on what the needs of the community are, graduating students, and
addressing, Chris, I wanted to, because I know we're almost out of time, I also want to say that we have been addressing issues related to social injustice. And I have to give a shout out to Crystal Walker and Cindy Nicodemus for their work on our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee and all the committee members. We have had more discussions, more ways to interact around topics of social injustice, probably this year than ever before. And those discussions will continue, those workshops will continue, those opportunities to examine what we do, how we do it, making sure we're operating under an equitable environment. That is so critical to what we do, because we serve the underserved students here, and we want to make sure that we're operating in an environment that everyone has an opportunity, as our mission says, to have a pathway to success. So we're working very hard in that area as well.
Absolutely. And everybody is welcome at Howard Community College. And we could talk an hour just on that topic. But we only have about 4 more minutes left here in our conversation. And I just want to look ahead. I just want to look ahead at 2021. And, I just want to hear from you, Kate. What are some of the things that we can look forward in 2021 at Howard Community College?
Well, I just mentioned a number of them, with our, new building, our new programs. I do think that we'll probably be rethinking too how we do our work. What we have found is that for some people, telework may be the best way for them to get their work done. And so we'll be looking at our policies and what do we have to redo. And so it's really it's really, we used to use that term thinking out of the box. Well, we've been thinking out of the box forever, but we're really thinking out of the box right now. And so I think reshifting how we do things is going to be both challenging but exciting, and all again centered around the mission of serving our students. So I look forward to that, and I look forward to the opportunities that are going to be available. But most of all, I look forward to getting back on campus and seeing people, because I terribly, terribly miss everyone. And so that to me will be the gift of 2021, to see our colleagues, to see our students. I'm looking forward, because I know it will happen in 2021.
And, I think that I can just piggyback on that and say, we talked about equity, we talked about innovation, we talked about creativity, we talked about learning the lessons of this year of 2020 and looking into 2021. I'm excited to see how all of this is going to create bigger and better opportunities that we maybe didn't think about before. You talked about fundraising and how effective it was to do it online when we thought we couldn't even do it. I mean, quite honestly, at first, we think we were not going to be able to celebrate. So again, 2020, perfect vision. I think in a very strange way, it did bring that perfect vision, because it magnified a lot of things, and it pushed us in many ways to really get outside of our comfort zone and grow. And Kate, I thank you, because I have seen that at Howard Community College through your leadership. Like I said, we didn't slow down one bit. It was from the beginning. We're adapting, we're moving. This is where we are today. How are we going to conquer it? What are we going to do? And I love that as we're looking into 2021, you're saying, you're not dismissing this. You're actually saying we've been empowered in many ways, and we're going to bring that with us to 2021 to create a better, more equitable, high tech, more open, more understanding, caring, loving, like it always has been, and supportive college campus for everybody. Is there anything else you would like to add before we wrap our conversation up today?
Well, Chris, I just want to thank you for all the good work that you do. You are an amazing person, and you just bring life to this show, and you tell the college story so well, and you're such a great interviewer. So thank you. And I want to wish you and anyone who's listening to our conversation all the best in 2021. It will be a better year. We used to say Happy New Year, and now we say better year, better new year. And 2021 will be that. And we will make sure that the college continues to thrive in 2021.